Martin Lee, aka Mr. Negative.
Mr. Negative has got to be the best Spider-Man villain in the brand new day era. I actually don't even think it's close. New original villains since 2008, they haven't really stuck very much. There's a lot of villains that are just meh. Overdrive, Hellgate, Regent. People who really haven't moved the needle or been in anything substantial enough to matter, at least to me. Then you got people like Screwball and Kindred, who are just terrible, flat out awful characters. God, I hate Screwball. But through all of this mid-pack, there is a diamond in the rough. A man known as Mr. Negative. He's easily by far and away the best new Spider-Man villain. It's wild how much he stands out amongst the group of villains I just named. Unlike them, he's got really cool powers, a great origin story, and he's just a genuine badass. The character literally stabbed and brutalized his own men when they made him look bad in his first appearance. This man is cold, but he is also Martin Lee, a philanthropist who helps out those in need in New York City while also maintaining some powers as well. This character is just so damn good. He's been adapted a few times, and he really only first appeared within the last 20 years, so he's pretty new by comic standards. This character has been in 2 different TV shows, the Lego video game, he's in Marvel Mystic Mayhem, Insomniac had him as a feature villain in their first Spider-Man game, and he also appears in the second one, and the character looks to be the newest villain to appear in live action, as he's heavily rumored to be the villain for brand new day Spider-Man film set to release next year. Words can't describe how excited I am for this to come out. Mr. Negative finally getting a live action appearance on top of his TV show and game appearances? Massive dub. In today's video, I'm going to go over Mr. Negative in the comics and then look at his adaptations to compare the two. Let's see how accurately he's adapted. This video is all about Mr. Negative.
You don't help people. You use them.
Mr. Negative was a Chinese immigrant who sought to make it to America to reach his wife, who was already living in New York. He was being transported illegally along with over 100 other Chinese immigrants when, due to complications with the captain and the gang helping bring them in, the ship actually crashed and every single crew member was found dead, aside from one man. This man was Martin Lee. He survived the crash, but was then found and essentially thrown into the deep pits of a gang and experimented on. He was given a drug that allowed him to access and tap into the dark and light force powers. It was known as D-Light. Pretty corny name, honestly. Even though he had access to his powers, he was actually still held captive until 2 other people who were held captive with him broke free and he followed them out. Those 2 people were actually Cloak and Dagger, but that's their only relevancy to this story. Martin Lee had escaped, and he was more than just one man in a body. It was actually 2. Martin Lee could access light and heal people, but also there was another man living inside of him now, Mr. Negative, an evil man who had access to dark forces and could hurt people. These powers included the ability to make his inner demons into actual people who could fight for him and they could not die. He could turn people evil with just his touch as well. This power is actually amplified based on how much good the person had in them that he was affecting. The more good they had, the more corrupt they became. He's also very talented with the sword as well. Mr. Negative quickly rose to power with his powers by killing off many of the gangs that stood in his way. At one point, he creates a gaseous chemical called Devil's Breath that was created based on someone's blood. This gas would then kill anyone of the same bloodline who were to breathe in said gas. Mr. Negative uses this on the Maggia gang and attempts to use it on all of their children until Spider-Man saves the day. But Mr. Negative didn't want to lose like that, so he threatened to murder a child if Spider-Man didn't give him a vial of his own blood. Spider-Man obviously obliges, he has to save the kid, and he gives Mr. Negative a vial of blood. But now Mr. Negative has a trump card up his sleeve. At any point, he can use Devil's Breath to kill Spider-Man. Mr. Negative would soon run into other issues, however, most notably the Hood. The Hood was running New York City's criminal scene, and Mr. Negative wasn't paying his fair dues. He actually wasn't paying anything at all. The Hood starts an all-out war on Mr. Negative, and it's reported on TV that Martin Lee's residence is under attack. Aunt May was watching the news, she hears this, and she's like super concerned. Martin Lee was a big contributor to the Feast Foundation that May ran to help out those in need. Peter hears this, so naturally he puts on his gear, races over to Martin Lee's home, not knowing that Martin Lee and Mr. Negative were the same person. Unwittingly, Spider-Man actually becomes corrupted by Mr. Negative, and Mr. Negative forces Spider-Man to protect him from the Hood's supervillains. And boy, does Spider-Man do just that. He beats the brakes off of these guys. They said it was an 8v1, and guess who won? The one, Spider-Man, baby. And then Betty Brant also somehow gets in the mix, and Spider-Man damn near kills her as well, until her voice helps reverse the corruption inside of Spider-Man. Mr. Negative escapes, and it isn't long until Spider-Man interferes with his plans again. This time around, though, Mr. Negative brought the Devil's Breath. Spider-Man, however, he's a genius, right? He knew Mr. Negative had stolen his blood solely to make Devil's Breath that would kill him. Spider-Man should have been planning for this, right? We would all expect the webhead to plan for this because he knows it's going to happen eventually, right? No, he actually didn't plan for it at all. When the Devil's Breath is used against the webhead just thinks fast and holds his breath. This is what our genius is doing. He knew he was going to make the Devil's Breath. He didn't plan for it at all. He just decides he's going to hold his breath. Okay. So Spider-Man holds his breath until the fight is essentially over. He breaks free, breaks out of the window, and he starts breathing in fresh air, and he lives. So Spider-Man, he lives his altercation, but he knows that Mr. Negative still has his vial of blood, and he can make more Devil's Breath to kill him whenever he wants. So Spider-Man and Black Cat would actually go into Mr. Negative's hideout, steal said vial of blood, and then replace it with pig's blood. As the story progresses forward, Eddie Brock actually comes into the picture. Eddie Brock actually has cancer, and he winds up at Feast. At Feast, Martin Lee actually cures Eddie Brock of his cancer, but it also turns out to create anti-venom because, it makes the light force and all of the black symbiote goo inside of Eddie Brock turn into anti-venom. When this happens, Eddie Brock also notices that Martin Lee is in fact Mr. Negative. He tries to attack him when Spider-Man and anti-venom get into it, and then anti-venom holds off Spider-Man as his captive. Not to do anything villainous, but to explain to Spider-Man that Mr. Negative is Martin Lee. These two are the same guy. Spider-Man refuses to believe it, though. That's when Anti-Venom literally takes him to where Mr. Negative is going to be, and an all-out fight breaks out. Spider-Man actually still refuses to believe it, but the Wraith confirms it. She actually put out a news broadcast about it, and Mr. Negative is exposed to the world. He does try and use the Devil's Breath on Spider-Man to, at least get one win out of this, but it's just pig's blood. That ain't going to affect Spider-Man no more, and Spider-Man whops on him. That's pretty much the basic to Mr. Negative's story, okay? He's a Chinese immigrant who comes to America. Along the way, everybody else dies except for him. He ends up in this gang pit and gets experimented on, and then he gets his powers. He actually has like two people living in him, though, because Martin Lee and Mr. Negative are not one person with like two different monikers. They're kind of just two different people in the same body. Martin Lee really is supposed to be like a benevolent person who tries to help, and Mr. Negative is supposed to be an evil person who tries to, be evil. It's not just like one person pretending to be both. I really do, to my knowledge of what I've understood from this comic and his comic run, they're two separate beings essentially in his body, essentially, with two separate powers. One has the light force that can heal, and the other has the dark force that can hurt. He's also just like super freaking dope all around, right? Like the fact that he can make minions and call them his own inner demons, and they fight for him, and they can't be killed, that's just so raw. I think that's like probably my favorite part about him. The inner demons thing is just so cool. I mean, also the fact that he just adds such a variety to Spider-Man's villain cast as well, right? You look at Spider-Man's villains, and they're all pretty much the exact same phenotype when you really look at it, right? And then Spider-Man was written and created in the 60s, so I personally understand why a lot of his villains are just white men. So I think it's cool that he actually add variety with Mr. Negative because he's not a white man. He's a really super fire Chinese villain. Like that's dope as hell. But now I want to talk about some of the adaptations, okay? But I think if we're going to talk about the adaptations, we might as well start with the best one, the literally most important one. Everybody who's watching this video is going to agree. Mr. Negative in the Insomniac Spider-Man universe.
Nothing can hurt me! Not anymore!
The first game is Godlike, and Mr. Negative is Godlike in it. Holy moly. It's literally so accurate. There's so much to enjoy about it as a comic book fan, and then the dramatics of it all make it fun for any non-comic book reader as well. The game has Martin Lee working with Feast as a philanthropist who helps others. That's pretty accurate. But he is also Mr. Negative, who steps in and fills the vacuum in the crime world after Kingpin is arrested. This is all pretty freaking accurate. It's not exactly Kingpin that gets taken down and arrested. It's really more so the Magia, but it's still pretty accurate, right? The video game does have Mr. Negative join Doc Ock Sinister Six, which is definitely not a part of the comics, but it's still super fire, right? He's just such a cool villain. I can totally see him doing this. The way he looks in the game is freaking sick, and the way he fights in the game is somehow even better, and it all feels so accurate. He has these cool mystical slashes you see in the comics. He's doing it in the game. He has his inner demon henchmen who can't die when you beat them down. That's also in the game. That's also in the comics. The game even features Devil Breath as an integral part of the story. Granted, it's a little bit different from just a poison for a specific group of people of a bloodline. It's actually just poisoning all of New York City. The very inclusion of it shows Insomniac really was doing their due diligence for this game. This game just has such a great story, it's so hard to compete with it narratively. You can tell comic book writers helped Insomniac with the first game because it's so damn good. and Mr. Negative is no exception to that. He would also appear in the third game of the franchise, and he is like a much more repenting person. He's more of the light side than the dark side, and he doesn't really want to hurt anybody. However, Kraven captures him from his prison and forces him to fight for his survival. That's when you play as Miles Morales as Spider-Man, and you actually have to fight Mr. Negative to the death. You see, Mr. Negative actually killed Miles' father earlier in the franchise, and now Miles is also captured by Kraven, and Kraven's having the two fight each other. But Miles is not a bad person. He's a superhero. Even though he wants vengeance, he knows it's not the right thing to do. He knows that he has to be a hero and save the guy. So right before it looks like he's going to kill Mr. Negative, he actually helps the guy escape, and he tells him to go tell Peter where he is so Peter could help him.
You're out? Fine, Spider-Man.
Through and through, I think it is a very fair claim to say that Mr. Negative is the best written character in this franchise.
I'm not looking for a fight. Kraven has the other Spider-Man trapped in an old mansion east of the city. He saved me. Told me to find you. This was the only way I knew how.
He's really given that much justice. There's like a lot of other characters you could choose. Like I think Doc Ock is really great, and Kraven as well. I wouldn't hate if you chose either of them. But Mr. Negative just grows so much. The character growth from the first game to the second game and third game through the entire franchise so far has been phenomenal. And I personally would say he's the best character in this franchise. Mr. Negative also appears in both the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon and the 2017 Spider-Man show. In the Ultimate universe, he actually only appears in the noir version, like when they go to the noir Spider-Man's universe. I guess it makes sense, it fits in, especially because the universe is filmed in black and white, so Mr. Negative is really only black and white, so it's pretty cool that they did it like that. And then 2017, he's just like a regular villain, Mr. Negative. Neither of them have Mr. Negative in a super substantial role, but Mr. Negative is honestly really freaking cool in both of these shows. Mr. Negative is also in the LEGO Marvel Superheroes game, and he's great there too. He's only DLC, but we still love him. This has got to be his most random appearance, though. Mr. Negative has a really odd, random appearance. I loved it, though. Don't get me wrong. He's actually in Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaurs TV show. He hires Moon Girl for his party because he wants to take her captive and use her as a ransom. He's written really gaudy and full of himself. He's like strictly Mr. Negative. There's no like Martin Lee in there, actually. But I thought it was still a fun inclusion. I mean, the character is just so damn cool. He looks great in animation, and the voice acting was done superbly.
Listen, Mr. Lee.
Please, Mr. Negative.
His final video game adaptation is in Marvel Mystic Mayhem. I talked about it semi-recently. He's a fully fledged playable character. He's even a part of the story in this game. He's got some cool moves too. I like him. I think he's great. He's not the best character in the game, but his design looks good and his voice acting is also good. But if we're talking about Mr. Negative, we gotta talk about the elephant in the room, right? He's supposed to be the main villain for Brand New Day. This is gonna be so sick. The movie has confirmed Punisher and Hulk are also gonna be in it. So, Mr. Negative is rumored to be forcing the Hulk back into a savage version of himself, and then Punisher and Spider-Man team up to stop him as well as Mr. Negative. You can't understand how hype I am for this, guys. John Bernthal and Tom Holland already are in the Odyssey together, and everybody's talking about how great their chemistry is. I can't wait to see Spider-Man and Punisher have some great chemistry on the screen together too. Granted, I want Spider-Man to hate Punisher, and I want Punisher to think Spider-Man's a wimp, but that's like, I want them to have great chemistry and rapport with each other like when they're acting. I don't want it to look awkward or something, and it feels like it won't be because they already seem like they're friends and they like get along with each other very well. But who's gonna play Mr. Negative? There's so many good picks out there you could choose from. My personal pick, I'm not straying too far from the light. I would pick Stephen O. Young. He's the voice actor for Mr. Negative in the Insomniac video games, and he's openly stated in the past he wanted to do the live action version. He clearly gets the character. I mean, the man did a phenomenal job in the Insomniac games. On top of that, the man looks great. He looks phenomenal. It's not like he's like an old geezer who's voicing acting. I think he's like 40 years old. He looks phenomenal. He's in great shape. He clearly understands the character. He looks great. I really hope they choose this guy to be in the role because he gets the history already. Like, I think it just would be the perfect casting for Mr. Negative. You don't really have to have like somebody who doesn't know the character have to do all this research. Stephen O. Young knows it. He's done it already. That would be my pick for Mr. Negative. But I gotta ask all you guys. Are you guys excited for Spider-Man Brand New Day, the Spider-Man 4 to come out? As well as who do you think should be the actor for Mr. Negative? There's a lot of great choices out there. I'm not gonna say mine is the only one that should be chosen. It's the best one. But if you think you have a better one, let me know down below. I mean, that's pretty much it for me in this video. I honestly thoroughly enjoyed reading all of Mr. Negative's comics, his origin story. He even has like his own mini, The Dark Reign, Mr. Negative. Everything about Mr. Negative in the comics is just so good. And it's a dichotomy from everything going on around him in the comics, because everything in the Brand New Day era is pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of the Brand New Day era. Everybody who watches my channel knows that already. But Mr. Negative is the exception for sure. This character rocks. That's just it for me though. If you guys want to talk to me more, I have a Discord. I'll put it in the description down below. If you want to support me and, you know, check out my Patreon, I have a Patreon as well, put in the description. But I think that's it for me in this video. Yeah, that's it. Dunk out. Peace.